Thank you, distinguished chairperson, distinguished members of the committee. Allow me to express my appreciation for this opportunity to inform the committee about measures taken to implement the provisions of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights undertaken by the government of Azerbaijan during the period since the submission of the fourth periodic report. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the government of the Republic of Azerbaijan to congratulate the members of the committee on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the UN General Assembly's adoption of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and to express the government's readiness to continue to cooperate with the committee in order to implement the provisions of the International Covenant. The interactive dialogue with members of the committee is a good opportunity for a periodic discussion and detailed analysis of the measures undertaken by the country's government. The periodic report has been prepared by the working group set up by the decree of the country's president, and this working group brought together representatives of the relevant ministries and agencies. Work on the report also involved the Ombudsman for Human Rights of the Republic of Azerbaijan and representatives of the relevant non-governmental organizations. The delegation of Azerbaijan at today's meeting includes high-ranking officials of the relevant state structures, which again demonstrates the importance that our country attaches to its cooperation with the committee. Distinguished Chairperson, the Republic of Azerbaijan is committed to the principles of universality and the interdependence of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Taking into account the internationally accepted commitments, the country's legislation is regularly being improved and brought into line with international standards, including in the field of protecting civil and political rights. Amendments to the country's constitution following a referendum which took place on the 26th of September 2016 stipulate, inter alia, respect for the protection of human dignity, the inadmissibility of abuse of rights, protection of personal data, the right for everyone to be treated with dignity by public authorities, which excludes arbitrary behavior, and the civil responsibility of the state and government officials for damage caused to human rights and freedoms, and the right of everyone to have an impartial consideration of their case in the administrative system and in court, as well as the opportunity to appeal to court regarding the actions or omissions of state bodies, political parties, legal entities, municipalities, and officials. These amendments aim to further constitutionally strengthen the protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms and establish an effective and flexible mechanism for the state administration of and ensuring the effectiveness of economic reforms. Distinguished Chairperson, the involvement of citizens directly in the public administration, as well as monitoring the activities of central and local government, working in cooperation with the public. These are all important components for ensuring the transparency of state activities. In this regard, and with this in mind, on the 22nd of November 2013, a law of the Republic of Azerbaijan on public participation was adopted. On the 27th of April 2016, an order of the President of the Republic adopted the second National Action Plan for the promotion of open government for the period 2016 to 2018. This plan stipulates the use of information communication technologies in the field of public administration, the implementation of new mechanisms to prevent corruption, strengthening civil society institutions, and public oversight. Citizens' ability to appeal to state bodies with suggestions, applications and complaints is an important tool for the implementation and protection of human rights. In this regard, the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan approved the law on citizens' appeal of the 12th of November 2015, which aims at making the local and central authorities informed about legal violations. The use of a single internet portal and an e-court system allow citizens to apply to courts on various legal issues electronically and to receive information about the progress of trials and judgments. This system significantly improves legal assistance provided to citizens, and it also ensures transparency and efficiency in the implementation of judgments. At the same time, in the context of the application of the Covenant's provisions by the national courts of the Republic of Azerbaijan, it should be noted that during the reporting period, 56 civil judgments handed down by the Shamachi District Court, 66 civil judgments from the Bilesovar District Court, and also in judgments of the Court of Appeal referred to Article 14, Equality before the courts, Article 9, Right to liberty and security, Article 12, Freedom of movement, and Article 25, Participation in public affairs. These are articles of the Covenant. Following consideration of citizens' complaints and assessment of the Judicial Legal Council, over the last 3 years, disciplinary proceedings have been launched against 41 judges, as a result of which the powers of 3 judges were ended ahead of time. 9 judges were moved to different places of work, and 15 judges were issued with warnings and other disciplinary punishments. As part of targeted and consistent measures to combat corruption, over the first 6 months of 2016, the General Directorate on the Fight Against Corruption, under the General Prosecutor of the Republic of Azerbaijan, concluded investigations in 100 criminal cases against 143 officials. Taking into account the appeals of human rights organizations and from the Human Rights Commissioner, the convicted persons and members of their families as well, taking into account the health, personal status, marital status, and their behavior during their sentence, amnesties and pardons have also been widely used in the country. According to the decree of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan from the 17th of March 2016 and an Act of Parliament from the 20th of May 2016, around 10,000 people were amnestied and pardoned. Distinguished Chairperson, the government also is undertaking measures to combat domestic violence and prevent human trafficking. In 2015, the State Committee on Family, Women and Children's Issues set up a special database which contains information received from various state bodies and rehabilitation centers, NGOs, concerning victims of domestic violence and the measures to be taken for their rehabilitation, integration, and providing them with legal assistance, as well as information on the perpetrators of this violence. In 2015, 2,248 criminal acts against women and girls were recorded. Against these persons, 2,935 people were prosecuted for these crimes. Special monitoring groups on the prevention of violence against women and girls were established. These brought together representatives of various state bodies. We also opened victim support centers for victims of domestic violence. In 2014, 7 NGO centers were accredited to provide services to victims of domestic violence. We're continuing to implement the 3rd National Plan of Action on combating human trafficking for the period 2014 to 2018. As a result of prompt preventive measures that have been undertaken. Over the first 3 months of 2016, 13 people were charged with human trafficking and 28 people were identified as victims of trafficking. Alongside this, over this period, measures have also been taken to further streamline the national legislation in the sphere of migration. In 2013, the Migration Code was adopted, and it defines the state policy in the field of migration. It regulates migration processes and also governs the legal status of foreigners and stateless persons in the Republic of Azerbaijan. According to information from the State Migration Service for 2015, 181 stateless persons were granted citizenship of Azerbaijan. 73 stateless persons were issued with temporary leave to remain, residency. 103 were granted permanent residence in the territory of the Republic of Azerbaijan. As of the 31st of December 2015, 47 people, or 63 along with their family members, have been granted refugee status. Within the framework of the state program on improving the living conditions and increasing the employment rates for refugees and IDPs, over the last 12 years, 94 new settlements for refugees and IDPs have been built. And this, along with the corresponding social infrastructure. Over the same period, for social protection of this group of people, around 5.4 billion manat has been allocated. As a result of these activities, the poverty level among this group of people has been reduced from 75% to 12%. Distinguished Mr. Chairperson, the government is continuing to consistently undertake measures to support civil society. Legislative and institutional reforms in this sphere, as well as the adoption of the blueprint for state support for NGOs and the establishment of the Council on State Support for NGOs under the presidency of the Republic of Azerbaijan, have all created favorable conditions for the development of NGOs. An electronic information system, the personal e-window, has been established, and this ensures the exchange of information between NGOs and state bodies. And it provides some legal information, laws and reports in electronic form, as well as providing other electronic services. The government also pays particular attention to collaboration with international organizations in this sphere. Upon the invitation of the government, from the 14th to the 22nd of September 2016, the Special Rapporteur, the UN Human Rights Council, on the situation of human rights defenders visited Azerbaijan. Next year, upon the invitation of the government, we expect the visit of the Special Rapporteur on the right to freedom of opinion and expression, and the Special Rapporteur on the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. It seems necessary to note that the opinion of the committee about alleged pressure and physical violence against representatives of the mass media and local human rights organizations are probably results of misinformation and do not reflect the real situation. Guided by the principle of equality of all persons before the law, criminal liability involving persons that are only suspected of committing a specific crime, regardless of their occupation or their position in society. Distinguished Chairman, members of committee, Azerbaijan continues to fulfill its obligations to fulfill the Sustainable Development Concept, to strengthen the rule of law and ensure respect for human rights. The decree of the President from the 6th of October 2016 created the National Coordination Council for Sustainable Development. Azerbaijan is making a significant contribution to the development of multiculturalism and strengthening interreligious and intercultural dialogue. In order to further develop the tradition of multiculturalism in the country, A 2016 decree of the President declared that 2016 would be the year of multiculturalism. From the 29th to the 30th of September, 25th to the 27th of April this year in Baku, the 7th Global Forum on the UN Alliance of Civilizations took place. And on the 29th to the 30th of September, the International Humanitarian Forum was held. The unresolved Armenia-Azerbaijan Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is still an obstacle to peace and sustainable development. Armenia continues to occupy Azerbaijani territories, in particular the Nagorno-Karabakh region and seven surrounding districts, which is a flagrant violation by Armenia of international law and the relevant UN Security Council resolutions. As a result of this occupation and the policy of ethnic cleansing, more than 1 million Azerbaijanis have become refugees and internally displaced persons and have been deprived of their fundamental human rights and freedoms. Unfortunately, it must be noted that the Republic of Azerbaijan is not able to fully fulfill its international obligations in the sphere of human rights protection in the occupied territories of Azerbaijan. In the course of the armed aggression by Armenia against the Republic of Azerbaijan, grave violations of the norms of international humanitarian law and human rights law have been reported. In many reports of extrajudicial executions, mass killings, torture, and other cruel and inhuman treatment and punishment against the civilian population have been noted, along with war crimes and the Khojaly genocide. The government of Azerbaijan will do its utmost to peacefully settle the conflict within the framework of the sovereignty, territorial integrity and inviolability of the internationally recognized borders of Azerbaijan. In conclusion, I would once again like to express our readiness, the readiness of the government of the Republic of Azerbaijan to cooperate productively and have an open dialogue with the committee. Thank you for your attention.